Carlos Rodriguez, 25 years as an assistant DA in Albany, and we're pleased to have him as a feature each week on Property Source Radio. And we're going to be talking about scams. But before we get to that, where were you last week? What?
I heard that you were doubting my my scout honor in the sense that I was mysterious.
It was well, I heard that you were day to day with a toenail. A toenail injury.
Yeah,
Come on.
This is the truth. Scout honor. Look,
I mean, you talk about
scout
scams.
Honor.
Talk about scams.
When the scam guy pulls a scam.
But I didn't. I had pain. I woke up about 3 a.m. with pain in my toe, my right toe, and I'll show you the bandage.
Well, no,
right.
Good.
And
yes, we'll have the bandage on PropertySourceRadio.com.
Went to my wonderful podiatrist, and she says, I got to remove the nail. She says, I'll come next week. She says, no, we're doing it right now.
So the nail is gone.
Nail's gone.
Pinky toe?
I'm on the mend. The thumb.
The big boy.
The big boy's toe.
The toe that calls the shots.
The toe that calls the shots.
It's
You just numb the toe. And
Oh, jeez, that hurts.
so
well, we're glad you're back.
I'm delighted to be back. I'm honored.
Let's move on to scams, can we?
Well, yeah, what was
Yes.
what was your take on the big story this past week about that woman who faked that she had cancer in order to raise money?
I mean,
no.
It's awful. I mean, the case is still pending in court, so I don't really want to comment on whether she's
The legality, sure.
Can you give us an
innocent or
overview
guilty.
of what's going on with it? Because just to fill me in case I get a good idea,
It's my understanding, based on the news media that I've read and some of the scuttlebutt that I've heard from my colleagues, that she came up with a plan, to solicit money, and she came up with a plan that would draw the sympathy of folks.
fundraiser type thing.
She held actual fundraisers where she raised money. And as I understand it, her scam reaches not only here in Rochester, she's from Canandaigua,
Right.
up here in Farmington, if I'm not mistaken, but it reaches all the way to New England.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, she had quite a little thing going.
Right.
Do you think-
there's a law that affects all this stuff? Every time there's a tragedy or something goes on with a fire, and then the next day you hear about these fundraisers.
Yeah.
There's a requirement that you have to file a certification with the Attorney General's office and do a follow-up report with an accounting. I remember with the DePonzio, the officer that
Yes,
got shot.
Tony DePonzio.
I got consulted in that case because some car dealers wanted to donate. The officers wanted to do a fundraiser, and it was a car. They wanted to raffle off a car. But the issue was that they had to pay for the car at a discount, to do the fundraiser. And the law requires that 100% of the proceeds of any fundraiser has to go to that particular function, the victim.
Do you think that this woman doing this is going to change the way people think about charitable donations?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I say again, we always, when I was at the Attorney General's office, donate to a local cause. And I know that you have situations where you have, tragedies go on, or some, teacher gets some illness where the students want to do some type of fundraiser. And again, how does the public verify these things when kids are going door to door or whatever, having an event, to solicit money?
That's my biggest concern.
One thing I would do is contact the Attorney General's office, see if there was a filing. That's real simple.
Yeah. I think the people who will suffer from this is, like when the Girl Scouts go door to door, maybe not
Or the
necessarily
Cancer Society.
selling cookies, but when someone just knocks on the door and says, I'm soliciting donations for whatever organization. I think because of this woman who is charged with was scamming for her non-existent cancer, some people are going to think twice before they just open their wallets.
Although, on the other hand, I had my neighbor across the street come over on Sunday and said, we're collecting money to take a trip on a softball thing for students. And I bought car wash tickets. So, some usually donate to who you know or an organization that you have experience with. And sometimes, you want to feel sympathetic and you want to donate some money. You want to step up to the plate. But sometimes you want to sort of stop a second and say, well, is this legit? And if you're questioning your mind that I have doubts, then check it out first.
How would you check something like that out? Like, let's say there's a fundraiser for somebody that you know, but you're just not really sure that they really got what they say they have. So how do you, like, who would I find that information out from?
Well, like I said a few minutes, if you're going to do a fundraiser for a specific person, there has to be a filing with the Attorney General's office. So that's the office I would call. If you when in doubt. And the Attorney General has also a Pennies for Charity book that they issue that talks about charities and how much they spend on solicitations and how much really goes to the charity.
Well, in your case, you talked about getting some car washes out of a donation, so at least you got something out of it.
Yeah, I did. And I knew the person, as my neighbor across the street, so I know that if there's something fishy going on, I would contact him immediately.
Carlos, in your corner, a weekly feature at Sports Radio 950 ESPN and Property Source Radio as we wrap up and I didn't realize this is National Consumer Protection Week 2012.
And what a way to have a local flavor to this by doing a consumer show on various scams and everything. I mean, there's a lot going on here in our community. I mean, we got China coming now. Scammers are selling these bogus prize things from China.
And you have one. What are they?
It's awful. It's like you won a prize, $10,000. And blah, blah, blah. And then you have to send $40 for the cost of notification and processing.
And this got mailed to you, so it wasn't...
This got mailed to a friend of ours that, forwarded it to me.
So it's not an internet scam. This is an actual...
Actual mailing.
Wow.
From
Finally,
China.
we're doing the mail
From
scam.
China.
Yeah.
P.O. Box.
Going back.
The return address is China.
If I had some marketing money and I had another $100,000 laying around, I'd stuff 7 million of those out to the country and see how many I got back.
And $40 a pop, and then you get they want, of course, your you got to send the money through either a check or a credit card, and then you're a victim of identity theft.
It looks
Real easy.
official. It looks official. Sure.
Gold
Wow.
lettering, the whole 9 yards. Beautiful.
I mean, thanks to having Carlos in my corner. Remember I was telling you about that life insurance issue that I had? I actually employed an attorney to look into it for me.
No, boy.
So,
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, how much is that going to get you?
they take, I don't know, I think he said like 25%. I mean, which isn't too bad. I guess it's the price of doing business, but I would much rather know what I'm getting into before I do it, because I don't want to end up the victim of, some kind of scam, and then I take everything I got.
Folks are getting a postcard here in this community. This is a true and a verifiable, a little postcard saying your annuity is about to expire.
Your nudity?
Annuity.
Oh, annuity.
Did I say nudity? No.
Oh my
Annuity.
goodness! Today with the show with the urologist and the nudity. What is going on?
It's like a investment life insurance. I don't know what it is. Or a while back it was a vehicle warranty is about to expire. Call this number. This was going on, and this is going on here locally.
It's always
and
amazing.
Call that number, and of course they're going to ask to verify your date of birth and social security number and everything, and you're a victim of identity theft. Real easy.
Wow. Carlos, some of the funny scams. I mean, it's serious business, of course. And every week we touch upon things that you need to know. But gosh, some of them are just too stupid to believe.
It's unbelievable, but they're happening. Here's one that I really got a chuckle out of, but I'm glad she was caught or found out. Okay, calling her the queen of the slip and fall.
Really?
Fox Business, some news reports on a 72-year-old woman who took 49 floor dives in grocery and liquor stores.
49?
49, and picked up $500,000 in compensation.
Oh,
No, we got to start
goodness.
thinking about this, don't
Okay.
we?
Wow.
49 dives.
Nice little old lady.
Yep, 72-year-old.
But if you're heavily padded, it won't hurt, right? And she got a $500,000
$500,000
in suits,
in
settlements of some
and
sort.
Before she was caught.
Holy-
Stopped.
So the bottom
scam.
line, Pat, she was caught.
Yeah, you got to just.
You want to give it a
Probably
go?
put a security
I'm
camera there.
fascinated
No.
by every time we think of this, like every time Carlos comes in and he says, "Oh my gosh, you'll never believe this scam," and he reads it, and instantly Pat Coyne's like, "Oh yeah,
do this one.
I
How do
can
we do-
see."
You want to hear
We can
just
make
one
this
quick
happen.
one?
Yeah.
Okay, and this is similar to the one in Ontario County. A Michigan woman hit on motherhood as a fundraising idea. She told friends she was pregnant and organized a lucrative baby shower. Later, after she supposedly had the child, she claimed it was sick, and then she needed money for treatment.
Whoa.
Again, victims gave her hundreds of dollars.
Wow.
No one apparently asked to see the baby.
Oh, I'd feel a little guilty, to be honest. I don't know
See?
if I could pull that off.
I can't
Yeah.
even call
You know,
into
that's-
work and say my child is sick.
Yeah.
I can't even. I could not ever imagine doing that.
Also, we were talking about these fundraisers from
Right.
the Ontario case. I mean, that money's supposed to, a charity needs, if they represent that the money's going for X, that money should go to X, not to Y or, buy TVs and such if it's for, a specific purpose.
Getting back to the lady who fell every time.
Yeah.
How do stores or how do businesses cover themselves in that regard? They just have to put up one of those little yellow signs that says wet floor and they're covered?
Yeah, there's a lot of negligence law of whether they had knowledge of it beforehand.
Because I'll admit, I've thought
Yeah.
about taking a dive here and there. Seriously.
That floor's wet at Home
Yeah.
Depot.
You're walking through Wegmans. You're going, man.
Whoops.
But you have to prove negligence. You have to prove injury too. I mean, she's, I don't know how she got on. I think maybe they had security cameras and they knew that they were targeting it because maybe the insurance companies were tired.
That would be
of
some
paying
fun.
off.
That'd be some funny video.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would
But
be.
also,
Collecting all those.
Again, I'm sure they have videos of her just, taking a dive.
Yeah, there's too much surveillance now in stores. I don't care
Yes.
where you go. There's surveillance everywhere. Even the smaller stores, they can afford the cameras.
Right. As long as there's no
too red-
surveillance in the bathrooms and such.
Well, gosh, no.
That's illegal.
But then how do you get someone to believe that you fell if you're in the bathroom? What do you hang out there till somebody else comes in?
You
You know,
could.
I mean, if there's no surveillance,
Speaking of video, we have Carlos to thank for our first TV exposure for Property Source Radio. Did you watch Wednesday night? Channel 13 was in here.
no, I
Yes.
didn't get to. Did you see it?
I did. Sean Carroll did a fantastic
Yeah,
job.
sure.
Really?
And it was all about Carlos, of course.
No, it's about scams.
But
It's all about Carlos.
Captain Carlos, as you're
I'm
sort of
honored
known.
to be part of consumer. I think consumer business here in Rochester. We have too many elderly folks getting scammed, and if we could get the word out to prevent scams, then I did my job.
Well, you've done your job here this week, and we always appreciate you joining us. I want to ask a couple of
Pleasure.
sports things. We have NCAA tournament action coming up. We have Selection Sunday tomorrow.
I could kick myself on the NCAA tournament Final Four thing because I've gone to the Final Four 5 times.
Oh, really?
And I didn't put in for tickets this year, and my favorite team might get in.
The Syracuse
Syracuse.
Orange. Yeah,
Yes.
they're going to be a top seed, no doubt.
Yes, they'll get a one seed.
Yeah. Do you get involved in any pools or anything? We talked last week about I introduced Pat to the idea of the Calcutta,
Oh,
something he had never heard
I
of
get
before.
involved in friendly lunch pools.
Yeah.
Because when I was at the AG's office, we have this thing about gambling and stuff, and
Sure.
totally. But
Are there scams that can tie in with, gambling pools of this sort?
well, gambling is illegal in New York, and if
No.
Oh, and there's all this stuff that goes on, and there's been a lot of raids. This is a perfect time
Yeah.
for law enforcement to get involved with raids regarding gambling of college games and such. So
Well-
be careful out there.
Good advice, always, from Carlos Rodriguez. Pat, we got to go. Good
Have
to
a
see
good
you.
weekend.
Yep,
Thank
you
you.
too. Alex, one of these weeks we're going to find out your last name. That's something that's on my agenda. Yeah, the woman with no last name. Property Source Radio, next week, 9 to 10. We hope you join us. Stick around. We have ESPN Radio coming up for Selection Sunday, of course. Don't forget, we have the Nighthawks at 1 o'clock this afternoon, Sabres at 7 o'clock tonight. Lots going on this Saturday. Thanks for joining us. Sports Radio 950 ESPN.